Welcome everyone to Davidson GPT. It's May 30th, the last Friday of the month. I'm so grateful, so glad that I have the time to join here today. I'm trying again this live here on LinkedIn. I believe it's live on YouTube and what else? Maybe Facebook. I don't know. But so grateful to be here. Davidson GPT again. You get what you get. You don't throw a fit. It's free. I'm just here to help with answers and advice. It's all based on my personal experience, on my decades of life. I'll say. I can give my age. If you just ask me a question on my DM, or if you ask the question here, I'll just give you my age. It's not a big deal. Anyways, another Friday. Let me just make sure this is live. Sometimes those things are so weird. Someday, I don't know, the live stream or maybe LinkedIn is gonna figure out a better way to make people comfortable about this whole live situation here. But sometimes you don't know who's live, who's not, and it's really tricky. And there's a huge delay, so I can see here. It doesn't look like no many people here yet. Sometimes show zero, sometimes show one, two, so I don't know. And then, but sometimes it's also not live. So I see here on my phone, see that it's three attendees, and here on my camera is showing zero. So if you're watching, if you're there, if this is working, just give a thumbs up somewhere on the screen over there, or maybe say hi, say where you're calling from. Calling from Dallas, Texas. The sun's right here in my face, and it's going away, so that's good. And usually when I start the live about 9 o'clock, the sun's right over here. When I finish, it's already gone, moving that way. So I'm here to talk. I have a few topics that I want to cover today. And last week was awesome. I love the questions I got last week. And I got to talk about different topics. So I can go on and on and on and on and talk the whole time. But this time is here for you. So I'm actually going to type a quick note here. Drop your questions now or on my DM. I'm here for you. So I have to go on my phone and type because the yard stream doesn't let me time. By the way, this is a really cool tool. If you want to broadcast stuff, I highly recommend. It's questions. If you don't have questions, I can start talking about. Yesterday, I yesterday I posted something. I believe it was yesterday. I can't remember now. Like the value of one. I believe it was yesterday. Yeah, it was. I was working out and then just thinking about the value of one connection, one interview, one networking, maybe one call, one the value of one. Right? We underestimate how things can just change like that when we are trying to do our best, and there's one little nugget or information or one introduction or one door that was open or even one interview or one DM message or one video. Anyways, the value of one is powerful. Don't underestimate how much that can do. I have a statistic here that I wrote down. The 61% of job seekers say that a single conversation changed the direction of their job search. So 61%, that was like a LinkedIn, one of the reports. 61% of job seekers report that one conversation changed the entire job search. So keep networking, keep knocking hard, keep going after the. You never know who's going to be willing to help you. You never know who's going to open the door for you. So just keep knocking. Just keep knocking. Um, I I knocked doors for a long time. Actually, when I was a missionary for my church for 2 years, I knocked doors. I sold pest control during the summer. During college, I sold alarm systems. I sold all sorts of every single summer. Pretty much, I was trying to sell something. That's how I graduated debt free. That's how I paid for my college education. I had a sponsor and I had scholarships and everything kind of combined to graduate debt free. So selling was definitely not only financially beneficial, but I was able to develop many skills and help me during my career, and it's helping me now. So knocking doors is not a problem for me, and communication and networking is not a problem for me. So if you struggle, if you have challenges, um, if you're not getting visibility, it's something that you have to work on it. There's no way around. People are gonna hire the people that they know. That's the very, very, very first step. So if you're not reaching out to people, if you're not networking, if you're not getting visibility, that's a big, big, big problem. Um, yeah. So the power of one. Let me see if there's any questions here, and if there's anybody, I'm just gonna keep talking. It's really hard sometimes. Also, because it's also being broadcasted on other social medias. If you are on Facebook or on YouTube, you have to come to LinkedIn. I just love LinkedIn. I'm just here. I work here. I help my clients get the jobs. That's how I find new clients. That's how I share my story, my journey. It's here on LinkedIn. So I am available here. I don't see any questions here yet, so I'm just gonna keep talking. I saw another statistic here this week. I made a couple of notes here of statistics. Let's see. Oh yeah, this was interesting. So this one came from Indeed. 100%. Now 100 people applied to every post of every tech role within 6 seconds of posting. I was like, wow. So 100% usually. So think about this. There is an opening in tech. I'm not even talking about tech sales and technology in general. Every posting that goes on the market or goes online, 100 people apply on the first 60 seconds. So you see that after after 1 hour, right? How many people already applied for that position? So the market's like that right now. It's super highly competitive. So your value doesn't have to uh, decrease based, or your value is going to be decreased, or it doesn't have to be decreased based on your lack of being visible, right? So you got to be aware that you're competing with, let's just say, in tech sales, especially in tech sales, or big tech organizations. It's even bigger competition. So you have to find a way to stand out, right? And you have to find a way to not crush the competition, but uh, to compete with yourself. And that's you are your biggest competition. At the end of the day, no matter how many people are there fighting for the same role. I'll give an example. Let's say if there is 1,000 people fighting for one role, but you feel like you're not qualified. It doesn't matter. The people that are out there, if you're not prepared, if you don't do the work, the other 1,000 people, it doesn't really matter. So be ready yourself, and then you're in the game. That's something that I can, as a coach, I feel like the majority of my job as a coach is the mindset and making sure that my clients have the right mindset, have the right strategy, so they don't get distracted. Right? There's a lot of distraction. There's a lot of information out there, and it's really easy to get distracted. Just give me 1 second. Um, Let me move my camera here really fast. And I don't see any questions yet. Again, this time is for you. I'm here for you. Every time I join this call, what I think about is how can I give value? How can I help? How can I uh, provide information that will help someone. And I know, give me 1 second here. I'm trying to find my camera again. It just moved away. Okay, here we go. I'm trying to find camera. It's right here. And okay, here we go. Let's go like this. Perfect. Yeah, so I'm here. I'm going to be looking at the questions here. If I see a question, answer the question. If I don't see a question, I'm just going to keep talking. All right. It's Friday again, everyone. Some of you it's probably getting ready for the weekend. Some of you are probably waking up. Some of you are in the middle of work or on a break. Um, just let me know how I can help. A second here. I have a really good topic that I want to talk about it. I just want to see what you have today. It's very quiet crowd here today. Maybe I'm just gonna do this. Here's the problem with those lives. By the way, um, what I'm seeing at least that a lot of people come on my DM with questions, but then when it comes to being live, it's a little bit intimidated. I'm not gonna lie. Uh, right? Let's say if you're looking for a job and you don't want anybody to know, you're not gonna be here kind of asking the question live, right? That's why I say if you go to my DM, I'll check my phone here. So if you go to my DM, let me see if there's any questions here from today. No. So if you have any questions, you can come to my DM, drop your question here. That way I keep private. I don't have to talk about your name, and I can just answer your question. I can help you here live. If you do not have any questions, I can just go to my past DMs and I can answer the questions here, or I can also just go to my posts. So I'm gonna keep my phone open. So if anybody asks a question, then I can at least be able to answer. Now I'm going to uh, see the other social media here. See if it's working. Maybe not. Actually, let's see it. Okay. So if there's any questions on the other social media, YouTube or Facebook, I can answer here on LinkedIn. So I need to see if anybody's posting any questions. Oh, not yet. Live. Okay. Interesting. Okay, I see here. Cool. All right. So I can see my camera now on YouTube. So if anybody has any questions on YouTube, I can answer here. All right, everyone. I will keep talking. So there's many things that I can talk about. And if you do have a question, I'll just stop and then I'll answer your question and I'll just keep talking. So I read something today. I was listening to a YouTube video, and what's his name? I believe it was Gary V. He says something really interesting. Let me see if I can find on my phone here. Okay, he said something about yeah. So this is quote straight from Gary V. So in business, there's only two things that you need to worry about business. You're either marketing or you're selling, and so everything that you do, you're either marketing or selling. If you're not marketing or selling, then you don't have a business. So everything else is kind of consequence of this very first stage. So that actually got me thinking. You know, you're either selling, you're either marketing, you're either closing a deal, or you don't have a business. So translating to job search, you either marketing yourself, or you're either selling yourself, or you don't have an offer, or you don't have a job, right? So you gotta concentrate on those two things. um, and you gotta own your story, right? Sometimes, like, you do have a lot of value, you just have a hard time on how to present yourself, or you do have a lot of value, but you just don't know how to sell yourself. So as a seller, uh, a lot of times it's easier to sell products and sell solutions than selling ourselves, right? So I think a lot of us, I would say, struggle uh, of actually selling ourselves. Some don't. Some are just fine, and they have no challenge, and it's totally cool. And even the best ones, even the best sellers, um, doesn't mean that because you're top 1% of on your market, or your team or your organization, you're doing really well in sales, doesn't mean that you are doing really great promoting yourself, right? So there's a balance that you gotta keep an eye on it. But yeah, so there is also like a statistic that says recruiters that spend on average 7 seconds reviewing resume, right? 6 to 7 seconds. So um, that's why I talk a lot about your LinkedIn profile, your LinkedIn presence, your storytelling on LinkedIn, because if a recruiter is just taking your, where is it? Get a piece of paper here. Give me 1 second. All right, so the recruiter is getting your resume, and let's do this. Resume. I'll say 6 to 10 seconds. Okay, so resume. Yeah. Okay. This the resume 6 to 10 seconds. Where they're gonna go next? So maybe on LinkedIn profile. I don't know the statistics on that. I have no idea. But if you get a good resume, it's a good hook. You're gonna push them to your LinkedIn profile. Maybe they might spend at least a minute, maybe 60 seconds, maybe on your LinkedIn profile. They're gonna scan really fast the headlines. They're gonna see, okay, you know, this resume smells like a pepperoni pizza, and then they're gonna go to your LinkedIn profile and be like, okay, this LinkedIn profile is smelling like a pepperoni pizza, or they're gonna be like, hey, I thought this resume was a pepperoni pizza, and here on LinkedIn it's showing only cheese. What is the pepperoni? So, anyways, I like the pizza analogy one because it's my favorite food. I love pizza. I know. It doesn't help me on my health. I would say, but it's just a childhood thing. I would say. It has always been my favorite pizza, my favorite food. But anyways, pizza analogies are great. You want to deliver what the customer is ordering, right? You want to deliver what the recruiter is thinking that you are going to deliver. So always make sure, again, that your resume aligns with your LinkedIn profile. It's just such a foundational uh, step. But a lot of times I do, and I do reviews almost every single week, 2, 3, 4, 5, and there's always a mismatch. There's always a mismatch. You would think that because it's so foundational, so basic, and naturally people do it. It does not happen. So start from the foundation, just like you would do building a house. Make sure your resume, your LinkedIn are super aligned. They are the foundation of your entire job search. So let's see. Don't do only your resume, but work on your LinkedIn profile as well. And then you build your house. Okay, everything else. Because what's gonna happen after you get your resume and your LinkedIn aligned, then you're gonna be going to network. Then you make a little picture here. So your LinkedIn, everything else, the house on the top is everything else, right? So first, make sure your LinkedIn and your resume aligned. I would say I'm bold to say this that I would say these days I don't have any statistics on this. I'm just guessing here, everyone, based on personal experience and based on coaching and based on helping people. I'll, this is the score I would give: 10% for resume, 9% for LinkedIn profile. That's it. That's trust me, trust me. If you only have a resume and if you, this is talking about, I'm not talking about network, none of that. I'm just talking about foundation. Okay. If your resume is not there, it's a problem. If it's not perfect, it's a problem. But if your LinkedIn profile does not exist, does not have all the keywords, is not like optimized for the world that you're looking for and all that, mm, that's gonna be tricky. Okay, doesn't have any testimonials or you're not as active. That's a problem. It's a visibility problem that you're gonna have. So if you're listening to this right now, if you have any questions, feel free to drop any questions you have here on the chat. My goal during this time is to help you. If you don't have questions, I have other topics that I can talk about and I can keep talking about. So average time of link resume review 6 to 10 seconds. Probably, I'm guessing here, everyone. Don't quote. You can quote Davidson GPT. The GPT said that. I'll say at least if your LinkedIn is very well, organized, I would say the recruiter is gonna spend at least 60 seconds. So like a 10x visibility. You want to increase the visibility as much as you can. And I'll boldly guess that your LinkedIn profile increases your visibility by 10x, literally 10x. All right. So if you don't know how to, what you need to do on LinkedIn, there is multiple. You don't need to go very far here on LinkedIn. Just hashtag maybe LinkedIn tips. Hashtag go search. In fact, I can show you here. I mean, there's a bunch of experts here, and there is also YouTube videos and things that you can find out how to better leverage LinkedIn. So I made some notes here of something else that I want to talk about today. If you don't have questions, I don't see any questions here today, so it's really fine. Um, what my vision for Davidson GPT is this. Okay, if there's one person, I'll help that person. I can do one-on-one coaching here live. If you want me to give a feedback on your LinkedIn profile, I'm just here for the entire community of LinkedIn. I usually coach uh, mid-level, uh, more like a little bit senior tech sellers who wants to find their next best job, who maybe just got laid off or trying to get a better job, better salary. Those are the people that I'm currently coaching. But I'm posting in general, right, about job search. And here today, I can talk about anything. I'm just an open chat here, right? I was gonna say an open book, but it's more like I'm an open chat, and I'll answer what I can. If I don't know, I'll research and I'll get back to you. And but I just feel like it's a better way to connect with the community, the LinkedIn community in general. And if you are a potential client, you can just send me a DM. We can just talk about if makes any sense for us to work together. But I take any questions here. I don't see any, so I'm gonna keep talking. Uh, Something happened on LinkedIn this week. It was kind of interesting. I never had that before. Um, Let me see if I can find Let me see if I can find. I'm gonna keep private. Name's private. I'm not gonna say anyone's name, embarrass anyone. That's not my purpose. None of that. I'll never do that. Ever. I just have too many DMs here, and I need to see if I can find. Uh, someone got a little bit upset. Um, with me, it was kind of weird. I don't know if they're upset or not because sometimes through text, you just really don't know how people are feeling, right? Um, but I reached out to this guy and reached out back, and basically what's happening, applying for 10 roles a day, Glassdoor, LinkedIn, and all the other, um, job search platforms. So as a career coach, I'm very strategic, okay, and I see patterns all the time, and it's not about quantity; it's a balance, okay. It's important to apply to a lot of submit a lot of applications, but I don't subscribe to the shotgun approach, which is maybe shooting everywhere and you're just hoping and praying, spraying that it's called the hope and spray strategy, right? Praying, spraying, that someone's gonna answer and call you for an interview. I'm more of the sniper kind of approach where we have specific and specific organizations that we're going to go after, and we're going to have specific messaging. We're going to work with specific people. They got to be strategic, right? Special special forces almost like got to have a plan, got to have a strategy, and you're going to execute. Now, applying 10 jobs a day, honestly, it's a lot. And it's going to burn you down. It's going to, you know why? Let me tell you why. Applying for a lot of jobs every single day is a problem. Let me tell you. It's going to, every application that you submit, it's almost like a piece of, let's say you have a bucket of hope, and you can only handle so much, right? Until you start like doubting yourself or second guessing or being reactive, right, with what's happening. So if you apply to 10, 100, 200, 300 a week, then every application think like it's a drop that gets out of that bucket, and you basically putting yourself out there way too much, and then you give all your hope to those applications, and you hear maybe for two, the return of your investment, the return of your emotions to all those. This is assuming that you're preparing, every resume for those applications, that you are like maybe networking with those organizations that you apply. It's just too much. You gotta narrow down to maybe 5 applications a week. It'll be more strategic. So I just mentioned, hey, I think my reply maybe was just not the best. I can do better. I just say, hey, there's hundreds of, and then this person is asking for a specific opportunity, and then I was like, oh, there's hundreds of those out there. You just need to figure out which one is yours, right? Which one you're gonna go after. I think maybe that wasn't a good wording of my English here, I'd say, but the person maybe thought that I was gaslighting, or I still trying to understand that word, by the way. Um, and but maybe maybe I was diminishing their efforts. Maybe my reply was like, "Hey, you're not doing enough, or use the right strategy." But I'm a coach. That's what I help people to do. Like, I'm wired to fix problems, right? So if someone gives me a problem, I try to give the answer. I get to try to give the strategy. So it wasn't the best answer. I even apologize here. Um, I think my answer sounded like it was something easy, but I was like, it's not easy at all. In fact, it's harder than ever. That's why I love what I do. I helps to give people clarity. Sorry if it sounded gaslighting. The first thought came to my mind was to apply to less and be more focused. But there's reason I mentioned going from many to a more targeted approach. Anyways, That's my take on submitting way too many applications. Just don't. It's not gonna do anything. It's not gonna help you. In fact, I don't even like to apply. Uh, I like to apply by invitation. No, okay. Let me give an example. If there is 10 hiring managers, 10 companies on that day asking you to apply for the job, and so they can put you in an interview loop, which that's what you want to listen. Apply to all of them. Apply to 10, to 100. If that's the case, hey, skip sending applications. But if you don't have an invitation, if you like, does that make sense? Like, I hope so. So maybe they're not venting here way too much. I just get frustrated because I see people suffering a lot by sending all those applications, and they just get burned out. They get frustrated, and so there's a problem here. Let me show you why. So I talked about that last week, and I'm going to talk about this every single week probably. Okay, questions, everyone? I don't see any questions, so I'm going to teach you something here right now. Give me a second. And I can answer all my questions just based on this analogy here, okay? Um no, shoot, I did it wrong. Okay. Give me a second. Okay, I promise I'll do quick. Here. Um strategy, strategy, visibility, ability, oh my gosh, and communications. Communications, okay. I know they're big words and they're big words for a reason. I try to teach that way because it's impossible to just show everything in one shot, right? But strategy, visibility, communications. I talk about this all the time. Um, applying to way too many jobs, applying to 10 jobs a day, 20 jobs a day, that's lack of strategy. You need to have that's a bigger problem right there. So if you're applying for way too many jobs, man, it's lack of strategy. Um, trust me, it will not let's say, okay, maybe it's not a good example, but let's say you want to build muscle and you want to work out, and you heard that you need to have more, you need to eat more protein, right? So you can build big muscles, right? And then you start eating protein, and then you eat like, a dozen of eggs in the breakfast, two chickens during lunchtime, and I mean, it's just sort of like going crazy about protein and eating way too much protein. Is like your body gets to a point that it's not even absorb that anymore, right? There's not even like space to absorb all the energy or all those proteins. You're gonna go wasted, literally wasted. So you know, if you apply way too many opportunities, like playing this numbers game, change that strategy. Or if you're doing that, if that's your strategy, that's a problem. That's a bad strategy. Okay, you gotta be strategic. You have to um, approach the job search differently. Otherwise, you're gonna get burned, and you're gonna be blaming on recruiters not replying to you because you applied to 300 and you got a reply of one, so 299 have a set of word. But guess what? If you instead of applying to 300 jobs and you apply to 10, and you network of five recruiters, and then you got those 10, like they were recommended by a coworker or a friend, your response rate is going to be much, much, much higher. Instead of applying to 300 and spending 40 hours, 50 hours a week applying to 300 jobs, apply to spend the same amount of time, apply strategically, and then your reply rate is going to be much higher. Period. You're going to get more interviews, you're going to get more offers. That's how it is. There's no way around, everyone. Let me look at my DM here. No, just someone trying to sell something. Okay, let's keep talking. Um, questions? Any questions about that? Apply too many. Oh, can I type here? Apply. Apply too many instead of just being targeted. Maybe I can share. Maybe I can type here now. Interesting. Okay. I got another statistic here. Oh, so let me share you a personal experience. So, for my business now, for my coaching business, tech sales funnels, I'm actually trying to find people to help me. I'm building a team slowly, right? Video editors and designers and that kind of stuff. And because I can't do all by myself, it's impossible. So I'm actually trying to find a VA, like someone that understand that's passionate about serving others, that's passionate about helping people get better jobs, and they understand LinkedIn, they understand my mission, my vision, and that kind of stuff. So this week I was able to talk to three people, three VAs, and so they're all different. Well, the reason I'm telling the story is I'll get to the point. Um, they're all different, and they all have their own qualifications. But that was like a good, bad, and best. It was a clear. It was funny. It was a clear distinction. The good was somewhat prepared for the interview, but had a cell phone, and you know, we had some. There wasn't a really good video call and that kind of stuff, but somewhat prepared. Anyways, what I'm trying to say is like I interviewed three people. One was good, the other was bad, the other was best. And the one that was best, it was had the stars. The answers were good. It could be used in ChatGPT or not, AI help, but at least was prepared, right? Was passionate about it. It was present. It was smiling. So, but something that none of them did. They didn't ask for the job. Um, you know, And one of them said, "Hey, you did a really good interview. In fact, of all the interviews I have done today, you probably did the best. Um, so you're like on the top, and we're gonna be talking to a couple of other people I mentioned, and then from there we're gonna make a final decision. So, but even I literally opened the window for the ask, um, and then so that's one of the things I train and I help my clients to do. Like for an interview, make sure you leave the interview knowing the next steps, and make sure you leave the interview with clarity and get immediate feedback, right? So I actually gave that feedback in the interviewee didn't ask for, but I felt like I needed to do that, since that the person is going eventually to be my personal assistant, right? So, anyways, ask for the job when you ask for immediate feedback. How you do that? One of the best ways for you to do that, if you're at the end of the interview and you felt like it was a good interview, you getting a good vibe during the entire interview process. I was asked like, "Hey, have been talking for about 30 minutes, for about an hour. Is that anything that you think is on my way to receive an offer?" Boom, like right there, like, or have you seen any red flags that would keep me from getting an offer or moving forward on this interview process? Automatically, just pay attention to how the person replies. There are no verbals. You would know if you're moving forward or not. You will know if you're going to get an offer or not. It's really rare that the person's going to lie in front of you. And if they are kind of wishy-washy, you will know by the tone of the voice, you know by their no verbals, if they're being truthful or not. So just keep that in mind. Just a little tip here on the strategy process. Um, how you can know if you're moving forward on the process or not to the the interview rounds, or even to get the offer. Find a way to get immediate feedback. Find a way to get immediate feedback. All right, that's just a thought. Um, and I made a note here. So there is a greenhouse. The statistic here came from Greenhouse. I'm not sure what they do, but they actually got from ChatGPT here. 58% of job seekers report being ghosted or misled during interviews. So 58% of job seekers report that they're being ghosted or misled. So don't leave by to chance. It's also your responsibility as job seeker to take ownership of how you cannot get ghosted, right? How can you get feedback at the end of the interview process? Like actively think the things you can do so you're not reactive and you're not part of the 58% who's not listening to anyone or getting any feedback, uh, or if they're not just piling up in frustration. So if they make you question your value, also if during the interview if they make you question your value, maybe they're not the right opportunity for you. They're just take that as a lesson and move on, right? But if you feel like they they understood your story, if you feel like it was a good conversation, then it's worth it to go and fight. Uh, Meaning like going after, trying to get a real interview. So let's see here. Oh, something also that I saw these stats here, and I had no idea how powerful this was. But I personally used, and I help my clients to do this. So there's a statistic that comes from SHRM, which is a human resources uh, organization, probably one of the biggest ones and the most well known. 50? Yeah. 50. 50? 50? Let's see. Roll down here somewhere. Oh, yeah. So if you have a 90 days plan, it will increase your probability of success by 50%. So just by having a 90 days plan, like look at this. If you jump on an interview and let's say at the end of the interview, when you start asking a couple of questions, maybe since almost everything these days is done virtually, or even if you're in person, have your 90 days plan, because what that shows that you're proactively thinking about the role, you're proactively thinking about solutions, you're proactively guessing what it's supposed to be doing or how success look like, and then you ask a question to the managers, and if you show like your 90 days plan, say, hey, preparing for this interview, I put this 90-day plan, and of course, I'd love to join your team and love to be part of this organization, you know. Um, and I got a couple of questions. Is that okay if I just show my 90 days plan and ask you a couple of questions? Boom! Like, can you imagine that? You put in your 90 days plan, do the interview, and then going after being very specific on the questions you ask, very strategic. To the hiring manager is going to be thinking like, man, I need this guy on my team. The people who are here on my team might not even be doing this. I need this guy. Right? See how impactful that can be. So SHRM reports, they do a bunch of surveys and a bunch of statistics and data on job search or employment in general. 90-day plans increases new hire success by 50%. Just remember that. So in your next interview or in your final interview, You want to put together some sort of dossier. You want to put together something. It can be a website. It can be a piece of paper. It can be a portfolio. It can be a PDF. It can be anything that you do. Try to include a 90 days plan. That's gonna be, you know, it can only help you. It can only help you. Okay, any questions here? There's no questions today at all. I don't see any questions here in the chat, which is totally fine. I'm just gonna keep talking. Just give me 1 second. I'm gonna drink some water here, and then I will keep recording. All right, all right. Um, maybe there is one person here. Maybe not. Um, or maybe on YouTube. Oh, interesting. So I can see some stats here. Anyways, questions, anyone? Anybody trying to hack into tech sales? Anybody trying to get a new opportunity? If for some reason those calls are not being helpful here live, I thought about it just doing private. That way, people can be ask more specific questions. And I can add more value. But I love I like being here. It just puts me on a spot, and makes me think proactively, and helps me to better help you, right? So I made a bullet point here. Let's see. I got another statistics here. This one's for HubSpot. And tell me if if you like it or not, or if it's a good one or not. But 48% of tech sellers say that they are actively looking due to instability. Whoa, that's a big number. So HubSpot reported, I don't know the date specifically, that 48% of tech sellers, they are actively looking due to instability. So we all know that there is instability being caused because of this whole AI revolution. There's a bunch of layoffs, and we see that all the time. Even here, LinkedIn and Microsoft and the big tech organizations, especially, they especially the bigger you are, of course. Just think about it, right? So if you're a big volcano, if you have an eruption, it's going to cause more damage. If you're a little volcano, if there's an eruption, and then it's going to be, a little damage, right? But of course, big tech, big eruption, big damage, right? Normal. Like sometimes people think way too much, right? But those shifts are being caused by the economics, or also by the AI. Those organizations are learning how to navigate through those waters, and of course it's going to happen. So naturally, 48% of tech sellers are actively looking for something. They might not be showing open to work on LinkedIn. They might not be talking to their manager, trying to find out what's next. So they're just afraid. They're just hiding. And I know that. Guess what? Because people come to me on private, and they tell me that they're looking for something, right? They want a resume feedback, a review, right? Or they signing up for coaching, because this just the nature of the beast. It's just how things are right now. So 48%, it's a huge number. It's a big number. So I don't know, how can you get stability in a stable industry? It's almost impossible, right? Um, it's I don't like the word unstable industry. Maybe uh, volatile, right? Is that a word? Yes, it is a word. It's an industry that's always shifting and changing, right? High risk, high return. Like, right? People are getting billionaires. Tech sellers are making 200, 100,000 million dollars, right? It's just like, and then they have lower months. So it's just the nature. You just have to get used to it. It's almost like, okay, I'll give an analogy here, and maybe it will paint the picture of tech sales. Okay, so 48% of tech sellers are actively looking due to instability. Okay, so let's say you're a fisherman, okay, and you're going to go fish. You can either go fish um, in a lake, like a very calm lake where there's no waves, and you can kind of get your paddleboard. You can even be on your paddleboard and standing and just kind of be fishing, because you know it's pretty stable. You know, nothing happening, not many people around. You kind of stay there and you fish. Or if you are like going, if and you can get like a little, little guy. Or if you're like if you're going for the big tunas, whatever, like sharks, and you're gonna have to jump in a boat. You're gonna have to go right in the middle of the ocean. You're gonna have to hit big waves. You're gonna maybe have to go. Your boat's gonna be bouncing up. I'm not a fisher, by the way. I just see that on TV or videos. If you go deep sea fishing, sometimes it can get really rocky. And then you finally got a big one, and you celebrate. And it's that if you're going for that, that's tech sales, right? If you're going for an industry that's you just want to fish, you just want to be a seller, you just want to kind of be calm waters, you just kind of want to do your thing and not be on the middle of the wave and then trying to survive, you know, trying to survive layoffs or trying to survive restructuring, or organizations are trying to be always be on your toes. That is, tech sales is definitely not for you, or you're not going to be happy in tech sales. So I think there's a quote, like a little quote that says something like, when the tide shifts, the prepared don't panic. So you just have to be prepared. You just have to have a plan B, or just have to be always networking. You just have to be ready for those shifts, and you have to be a deep sea fisher, right? And that just own it, right? And then I'm not a lake fisher. I'm a deep sea. I'm gonna go. I'm going for the big one, the big fishes, and high risk, high return, right? And that's it. Is what it is. Um, when people come to me talking about layoffs and things like that and what's happening on the market, yes, I get it, but hey, it is what it is. You gotta have a strong mind, strong mindset. Um, hopefully that was helped someone out there. Um, I see people in all different stages, right? Um, my clients, even my clients right now, are in different stages, right? So you have a client who is interviewing today, fingers crossed, final round. I have a client who is uh, just starting, so we just finished, resume, LinkedIn, we boosted the whole thing, just targeted a few companies, so we're ready to network and apply and do other things. And I have one who's I need to talk that's considering to get started, right? So there's different stages. Everyone's in different stages. Awareness, positioning, branding, execution. Um, you just have to understand where you stand, right? On the job search, which stage you are, and where you are right now is not, uh, you know, where you want to be, right? So just know your next step and just keep moving. Okay, just keep moving. This and what I want you to say is that everyone's in different stages of life, different stages of job searching, different stages of the job search pipeline. So stop comparing yourself to other people. That's probably comparison is the thief of all joy, right? So the more you compare to other people, and then you get distracted, you gotta stay focused, stay on the game, do your thing, just keep pushing, keep working hard, keep networking, keep working on the basics. And I have seen in my personal life the coaching increases the job search effectiveness, but sometimes by 76, the ICF, the Federation of Coaching, International Coaching Federation, they say that Coaching effectiveness increases by 67%. The probability of you achieving outcome, right? So it is helpful, and I do have coaches myself, and I see how much the value of coaching and how it can speed people. Uh, I didn't know that stats I just saw this week. It's by 67%. That's pretty substantial, right? Um, and talk about coaching in 5 minutes. I have a coach with one of my clients, so super excited for that. Um, just as you keep moving along, just don't compare yourself to others. Just do what you can, and and your time is gonna come. I know it's hard because you see people posting here on LinkedIn all the time, like, "Hey, I just got my offer," or "I'm happy to announce," or "I just got promoted," all that, and you're like maybe looking for jobs for like 3 months, 6 months. Should It's hard to hear that, but don't compare yourself. If you want to reach out to that person and say, "Hey, can you teach me one? Hey, congratulations for getting a new job. Hey, he's a he's a networking tip for you, okay? Who is struggling with finding jobs or finding opportunities. If you see someone posting that they just found a job, they just found an opportunity, hey, even if it's in a completely different field or organization that you want to work for, reach out to that person. She's on fire. She's happy. Maybe she has 3 weeks or a month before she gets started working, and she's full of desire to help and serve, most likely. Uh, because she's full of gratitude. So when people are full of gratitude, they're more willing to give, to help. So reach out to that person, say, "Hey, goodness gracious, congratulations for getting a job, your offer. I saw you posted on LinkedIn. I have been in the search for 2, 3 months. And you just can't get this right." So reach out, and then if you have one or two tips of strategy, something that's fresh that worked for you, that I can probably apply and then tweak my job search. Be proactive on doing those things. Promise you're gonna get nuggets here and there. If you want to do it by yourself, if you don't have a mentor, a coach, or if you don't have like that board of advisors, build one. And you can build one virtually. You can build one by reaching out to people. Don't be afraid of reaching out to people who are being successful, especially the ones who are being successful getting jobs, because they're really fresh and they're gonna help you. Um, yeah. So we do have 3 minutes here. 3 minutes. Can I have I didn't get any questions here, but I'm gonna close right now. If you have any questions, just drop here. Because we only have 2 minutes. If I don't answer in 2 minutes or 30 seconds, send to my DM. I will send you a private answer, or I'll answer here next week. But just be an A player. Like, just think about sports. The best teams, the best sports teams, they train the best ones, right? Um, the A players, they are proactive. They're not reactive. They're not thinking about you know what people outside of the field are telling them. They're not thinking about the weather, or they're not thinking about the sun. They are on the game. They're A players. They're gonna execute. So as you continue your job search, just be an A player. I like to work with A players. I like to work with top performers, high performers, people who are hungry, who are ready to execute. Um, so don't just go around asking for help. Go around adding value. Uh, Share your journey. Something that you're giving so you can receive. It's just the law of the universe, right? Um, so build your personal brand here on LinkedIn. That's going to increase at least, we talked about this today, but at least 10x. Your resume is going to boost your resume by 10x. Um, and Yeah, just be proactive. Just keep pounding. Reach out to people who are getting jobs. Find out from them what's working from them. The best people to find information about the organization is are the people who just kind of recently just went through the same process that you want to go, and don't reinvent the wheel. This is just all a matter of strategy and staying focused on you, on your skills, on your ability, and then leave everyone else on the sides. Stay on track. Um, it is 1 hour already. I've been talking here for 1 hour. I'll stop right now. Happy Friday. Have a good weekend. Rest, and I'll see you next week.